we have to understand what really happened there. So there are a few explanations that our sages give what caused them to die. The first explanation is that they didn't wash their hands and feet before going into the working as a Kohen. The law is that a Kohen has to wash their hands, wash their feet, then they go into the place where they can work. So the first opinion says that they didn't wash their hands and feet. The second opinion is that they were drunk, that they drank wine, and you're not allowed to drink wine when you're going to serve Hashem, especially in the holy area. The third thing is that they went into Kodesh HaKodeshim, to the Holy of Holy, and only the Kohen Gadol is allowed to go there. Not any Kohen can go in there. Another explanation is that they weren't married. They weren't married and they didn't have kids. And the Kohen Gadol has to be married. The Kohen that goes into Kodesh HaKodeshim has to be married and he has to have kids. So there's all sorts of explanations. What did they do to cause them to die while they went to the altar to sacrifice? Because in general it doesn't make sense. Why? Now, interestingly, we find that there's a certain book by the Gaon Chida. The book is called Chomat Anach, and he says the 5 things that they did is the acronym of Esh Zara. Esh Zara is a foreign fire, and that's what caused them, so to say, to die, because the Torah explains that when you put fire on the altar, you also have to add fire that is called Esh Mehidyot, a fire that was lit by a simple person. The main fire is lit by a priest, but you have to merge 2 fires, and one of them has to come from a simple person. So one opinion said that Nadav and Avihu, they went out to bring foreign fire. So they did what they were told. But in the acronym of the word Esh Zara, it has 5 letters, and the Gaon Chida says that the acronym tells us exactly what they did. Sorry. The Aleph of Esh Zara is Esh Zara. The Shin of Esh is Shtuye Yain, that they drank wine. The Zayin of Zara is Zera, they didn't have kids. The Reish of Zara is Rechitza, they didn't wash their hands. And the Hey of Zara is that Horu Halacha Bifnei Rabam, that they said a halacha in front of Moshe Rabbeinu, which was a disgrace. So the sages tried to explain how did they sin? So they brought the foreign fire, they went in drunk, they said a halacha in front of Moshe. Basically, it all boils down that they did what's called zilzul. They didn't take it serious, so to say. They did what's called zilzul ba'avodat HaMishkan, neglecting the holiness of the work in the Mishkan. Now, all this makes a lot of sense. I understand. Everything is very, very obvious. And all the commentaries are against them. Basically saying, yeah, they sinned. Oh, I have the tea, but thank you. But there's one commentary that says that they treated the place, when I was a little kid, my father has a very big business, and I used to, in the summer vacation, go to my father to work there. Now I would just walk, I would come in, out, up, down, I would do whatever I want. I'm the boss's son. In Israel, there's a term when you drive in the street and somebody drives however they want. In Israel, they say that he thinks his father owns the street, that he just drives however he wants. Now, in summer vacations, when I used to go work for my father, I would come whenever I want. I would sit in the executive office with my feet on the table and drink, and nobody would tell me anything. I'm the son of the boss. So I would behave like that because I knew, I'm the son of the Balabait. So sometimes when somebody feels very comfortable in their father's business or something like that, I mean, you see my kids, they're walking around here, they don't sit like this. They open doors, they do things, they feel it's my father's. I can do whatever I want here. So some commentary says that Nadav and Avihu, they said, my father is the Kohen Gadol. My uncle is the king, Moshe Rabbeinu. And they just walked and did whatever they want there. So unfortunately, most commentaries are kind of finding them guilty and saying, yes, they were chutzpah. They didn't do what they're supposed to do. They were talking halacha in front of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's a disgrace. They drank wine. They did this. They did that. Everybody finds them guilty. Besides one commentary, that this commentary is called Or HaChaim, and he says, no, I don't think they're guilty. You're taking it out of proportions. They weren't guilty at all. And where do we learn that? Is that later on, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Aaron HaKohen, and how do you make somebody that just lose their children feel better? I mean, what words can you say to appease, or to say somebody that just lost his two kids? There's nothing much to say. And we know that when chas v'shalom, a parent loses a child in a very tragic way, you can't make that person feel better. Or you're going to tell him the child was a great child. There's no words to comfort the parent. I'm not talking about when somebody dies when they're 90 years old. So okay, that's the way of life, and that's the reality. But when a parent loses a child, what words can you say to make the parent feel better? So Moshe Rabbeinu had a magic word, a magic sentence, and he told Aaron HaKohen, don't worry, Nadav and Avihu were greater than me and you. And that calmed him down. Aaron HaKohen was very upset, and that calmed him down. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, we're greater than me and you. And why do I know that? Because Moshe Rabbeinu said, I knew, Hashem hinted to me that on the day that we're going to erect the Mishkan, somebody's going to have to die on Kiddush Hashem. Because it says in the Pasuk, in Parashat Tetzaveh, V'nikdashti betoch Am Yisrael, that I will have to be sanctified within the nation, meaning somebody's going to have to die to sanctify my name. And it's going to have to be a tzaddik. When the tzaddik dies, then it's a Kiddush Hashem. This is something that is very hard for us to understand, but when somebody dies on sanctifying Hashem's name, and we just commemorated the death, the murderer of 6 million Jews that died on Kiddush Hashem in the Holocaust, and many other Jews, any Jew that dies just because he's a Jew, it's not, I wouldn't even say die, being murdered because he's a Jew, and that person died in Kiddush Hashem. And it means that it's sanctifying the name of Hashem. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, I had a prophecy. Hashem gave me a hint that on the day of the Hakamat Mishkan, somebody's going to have to die on Kiddush Hashem. And Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron, I was convinced it's either me or you, that we're going to go, because who's going to go to put the sacrifice? Me and you. We're going to go. We prepared the Mishkan, we built it, we invested, everybody's waiting like this to see what's going to happen. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, I couldn't say anything, but I was convinced that either me or you are going to die. And now that I see that they died, I understand that they were greater than me and you.